Creative nonfiction is becoming one of the most popular genres for writing. However, it's a hard practice, but easy in theory. So today, we'll be learning how to write for the creative nonfiction genre. In step 1, you'll choose your creative nonfiction format. Because the creative nonfiction format is fast-paced and evolving, if you do research, you'll find that there are hundreds of different styles of format that you could use in your own writing. However, for today's specific purposes, we'll be using 3 that are fairly popular in the genre. The first one is a memoir, the second is travel writing, and the third is personal essay. In a memoir, you'll find that it's almost like a autobiography, but not quite. It relates to a specific time or a specific era or a specific situation that the author has experienced. When we look at travel writing, you'll find that it is almost an essay, or it can be a book, where the author discusses their travels and their experiences through those travels and who they met and what they did. And last is a personal essay, and the personal essay is a little less involved than the memoir, but kind of the same thing. It is an author that has experienced a situation, but discusses it in a shorter format, in an essay format. In step 2, you'll consider the language of your piece. And this way, you'll be looking at the point of view, which is typically first person because it's going to be something that's personal to you, personal experience. However, it's not limited, and it could be a third person point of view as well. The second thing you're going to pay attention to is the imagery. Creative nonfiction is full of imagery, whether it be figurative or literal. You're painting a picture. You want the reader to be fully immersed and to know exactly what you're talking about and to be able to taste what you're tasting or to see what you're seeing. The third piece of language that to consider is dialogue. Remember that this is a personal experience, and more than likely you're not going to be the only one talking. You're going to have your family there, you're going to have your husband there, you're going to have your friends there. So you're going to have to know the dialect and remember the dialect of the people that you're speaking to. And additionally, you're going to have to work on conversations, how to make them fluid, how to make sure that they keep simple, because it's not about the other people, it's about you. The other is figurative language, so similes and metaphors. All of this makes the writing jump out to the reader, and sometimes it makes it seem a little silly and almost as if they're not reading a real experience, but that's kind of the point. And the last is humor. You want to make your audience laugh. That's the big picture. You want them to laugh while still proving a point. Step 4 is to consider your audience. This is a particularly tricky part of the creative nonfiction genre because it depends on your format, and it's very possible that your piece is only going to appeal to a small group of people. So with that in mind, you need to find your niche and who is going to be reading this. You have to think small because your piece is only talking about one specific moment. So you can't reach out to all these different experiences to try to bring in audiences because you're going to leave out detail. So we have to think small, and we have to pick a audience that is going to keep coming back and reading. And lastly, it could be yourself. The audience could be yourself. It doesn't have to be a group of people because this is purely your representation of a specific event. And you also have to consider who that might offend. Now that we know the steps in how to write a creative nonfiction piece, we're going to discuss some samples of writing so that we can bring it full circle. In our second writing sample, we're going to look at the novel Eat, Pray, Love. It is a travel writing piece, and the excerpt is this. The only thing more unthinkable than leaving was staying. The only thing more impossible than staying was leaving. I didn't want to destroy anything or anybody. I just wanted to slip out of the back door without causing any fuss or consequences, and then not stop running until I reached Greenland. For those of you that aren't familiar with this book, it is In our final writing sample, we're going to look at the personal essay of Amy Cunningham called Why Women Smile. And the excerpt is as follows. After smiling brilliantly for nearly 4 decades, I now find myself trying to quit, or at the very least tone down the wattage a bit. Not everyone I know is keen on this. My smile has gleamed like a cheap plastic nightlight for so long and so reliably. In this example, we see uses of purpose and imagery. For purpose, we see this through what she's telling us what she's going to do. She's been doing the smiling thing forever, but now she wants to quit. She's done with it. And the people around her aren't so impressed by that. So what is she going to do? She's established the purpose. The second example is of imagery, and we see this in her fantastic use of "my smile gleams like a cheap plastic nightlight." We can all kind of picture what that would exactly look like, can't we? Additionally, with examples like